Greetings and welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into reparenting, exploring all of the tools and resources that you'll need to help you along your journey. This podcast is divided into 3 sections. The first is a daily reading. The second is a discussion of the reading, followed by suggested journal prompts. And the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad you've joined us today on this journey of self-expansion and growth. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe this podcast wherever you're listening, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Your help here really makes a huge difference in allowing us to spread the word and build a more supportive community as we continue with our self-reparenting. Now, before we get started, I have some quick updates for you. First, I'd like to introduce our Patreon community. Here, for a small monthly fee, you can join us for 3 weekly meetings for additional support with your reparenting journey. On Sundays, we have a meditation group. On Tuesdays, we have a book club discussion. And on Thursdays, we have open topic conversations. You can find out more details about this if you go to the Reparenting Daily website and check out on the community tab. In addition to that, we also have a WhatsApp group to foster more daily connection and support for whenever you need it. And this is a community of fellow travelers from around the world who will always be there when help is needed. It's just one of the many ways that we're building our network of resources that are really going to help support your reparenting journey. For the next update, I'm very excited to announce that I've just released some first books. The first is probably the most important, and it's called the Reparenting Daily Journal. Now, this journal is a daily guide for 365 days of the year. We'll be starting in 2025, and basically each month corresponds to a theme in reparenting, and each week of each month corresponds to a sub-theme of the monthly theme. Now, from the beginning of the year, 2025, each daily episode will correspond with the themes in the daily workbooks. And so you can use this as a guide to work through your reparenting journey to stay focused, ensuring that you cover all of the most critical areas within a year's time. And again, this will be aligning up with the podcast, so you can use both of these to make a more engaging and interactive experience. This is ensuring that you really book progress on your reparenting journey. The next set of books I've written is called Fairy Tales for Reparenting. This is a collection of 3 books that contain short stories or fairy tales inspired from Jungian analysis, mythology, philosophy, and psychology that really is targeted to helping you connect to your inner child. And so these stories are very short. They're not very long. They're written in a very simple manner so that it's not too taxing on you, so you can more easily connect with the joy and fun of your inner child. More interestingly, however, is that at the end of each story, there's an analysis section that really analyzes the main themes and concepts within each story to provide encouragement and inspiration. Additionally, you will find corresponding journal prompts after each story and each analysis section to help you reflect deeper on how the themes of each fairy tale can be reflected and correspond to your own personal journey as you work towards self-expansion. You can find all of these books now available on Amazon, so go ahead and give us a look and give us some support. And as I've mentioned before, this entire process of reparenting and self-expansion is really about growth, iterative change, and continuous improvement. Much like the process of nurturing the bonsai tree, our reparenting journey requires our consistency and care. So many thanks for being here and for supporting this project, and also to committing on your journey of self-expansion. Now, without further ado, let's dive into today's practice. Today's article is from fearlessliving.org. Just as a reminder, I'll read a portion of the article, and I encourage you to check out the link in the show notes to read the full article. It's a really good one. Just as a reminder, this is March, and the theme for this month is building self-trust and self-confidence. We're in week 1, which is March 1st through the 7th, and the theme for this week is understanding the foundations of self-trust. How to trust yourself and build true self-confidence. Trust is a scary word for many of us, myself included. But when most of us think about trust, we think about trusting other people. Trusting our partners, children, friends, family, co-workers, etc. I'm sorry, but I have some bad news for you. You're not going to want to hear. Trust is something you need to build with yourself first. And that's exactly what we're going to discuss today. Let's learn about why self trust is important and how to trust yourself one step at a time. Why don't you trust yourself? Trust is the backbone of any healthy and strong relationship. If you don't trust your partner, you're not going to last long, or you'll continue bearing through the relationship that doesn't fulfill you. Wanting to trust a romantic partner is something we all can understand and relate to. But what about the trust we hold with ourselves? What does it mean to trust yourself? To not trust yourself means you second guess every decision you make, you don't trust your own judgment, you think you can only make decisions as others around you agree, you're not able to stand up for yourself, you have low self esteem and lack confidence. You always look to other people for the answers. You believe everyone else has the answers, but you don't. You put yourself down in either your head or out loud to others. You don't have clear boundaries to protect your mental, physical, and emotional health. You never or rarely take time to look inward. You feel uncomfortable spending time alone. You'd rather stay busy than sit and reflect on your own thoughts and feelings. I spent many years of my life not trusting myself. I thought I was the one who was wrong, who didn't fit in. I thought everyone else had the answers, but I didn't. I didn't trust myself enough to face the hard truths about my actions and where my life was headed. I didn't trust myself to listen to my own feelings or spend time alone. I didn't trust myself enough to choose the right relationship or to put myself first. I didn't trust myself enough to follow my dreams or pursue any sort of passion. In fact, every intimate relationship I had was fraught with trust issues because I didn't trust myself. I thought the way to show my partner love was to trust them, even though they may not have earned it or deserved it. I thought love was trusting them no matter what. And because I didn't trust myself, I never got to know myself. So for decades, yes, decades, I thought I was loving by trusting them more than I trusted myself. I ignored any of the red flags or warning signs I got because I took that as not trusting them. Well, as you can imagine, the mess that I made of my relationships, all in the name of love, or so I thought. Oh boy, was I wrong. It wasn't until I realized that if I didn't trust myself, trusted what I liked, trusted what I wanted, trusted what made me happy, I could never truly feel loved by myself or another. My journey to self trust was long and complicated, as most people's relationships with themselves are. Trust is something you build over time. It takes hard work and a whole lot of introspection. So, how do you trust and believe in yourself? How do you get better at being honest with yourself, even when the truth hurts? Let's find out. Thank you. And that's the reading for today. Welcome back. Welcome back. It was a good reading. Please do check out the whole article. It's really good. We'll read a bit more tomorrow, just as FYI. But as we look at the reading and reflect, reparenting is about building trust, love, and security we may not have had as children. And this reading highlights a critical aspect of reparenting, learning to trust yourself. Many of us grew up doubting our feelings, instincts, and decisions because we were conditioned to prioritize others' opinions over our own. When we don't trust ourselves, we look outward for validation, struggle with boundaries, and ignore red flags in our relationships. Rebuilding self trust means reclaiming our inner authority, validating our emotions, listening to our needs, and standing firmly in our decisions. This is the foundation of confidence and self expansion. When we trust ourselves, we no longer seek permission to exist authentically. Instead, we become secure, supportive presence we always needed. Without self-trust, we remain cycled and stuck in cycles of doubt and external dependence. This reading illustrates how a lack of trust in oneself impacts relationships, self-worth, and the ability to make empowered choices. Many people assume confidence comes first, but true confidence is a byproduct of self-trust. The more we honor our own experiences and intuition, the more confident we become in navigating life. Reparenting through self-trust means showing up for yourself, making choices aligned with your truth, and allowing yourself to take risks without self-punishment. This is the path to self-expansion, stepping beyond fear and stepping into your own power. As we look at the journal prompts today, what is one past decision I regret, and how can I reframe it as a moment of learning instead of failure? Number 2, where in life do I struggle to trust myself the most, and how can I start building self-trust in small ways? And number 3, what would my life look like if I fully trusted myself to make choices without seeking external validation? That's it for today. Thanks for being here. And as always, take care of yourself and please do be well. Welcome back. Now, this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please find a place where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for this 10-minute silent meditation. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you comfortable today. Just take some time to listen to yourself. Next, be sure that you are taking some time to be with your breath to connect with your body. Don't be disturbed or overwhelmed by your thoughts. Simply allow them to pass. Just observe them. Do not engage with your thoughts. Only be mindful of them passing, as if they are drifting down a river. Use this time to connect with yourself. Whatever time of day you are listening to this, Namaste.